as shit. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is a video response to well-known YouTuber on here, the nigga with the tattoos, and I crack up every time I read his name because it's quite a name. But he recently did a video called Willie Lynch syndrome, and he basically was talking about how Willie Lynch syndrome was written in 1712 and how this was a way to contain plantation owners, slaves, and how to control them. And he talked about how one of the things that was said in the letter was, to put the old against the young and put the darker slaves against the light skinned slaves, aka house nigga, field nigga type of thing. But his philosophy, basically what he was saying, if the Willie Lynch letter was even true, was that we can't resort back to the Willie Lynch syndrome or the letter and basically connect that to what's going on right now. And then he mentioned how nothing can stop us from doing what we're doing unless we allow it to happen. But and he basically made an example saying how we can't nobody makes the light skinned chick hate the dark skinned chick, or the dark skinned chick hating on the light skinned chick, and those type of things that we deal with within our community, and old versus young, and basically the natural hair and chicks that want to wear weaves and so on and so on. A lot of these little issues that we've been dealing with for decades within our community. And again, basically his whole philosophy was we can't relate the Willie Lynch letter or the syndrome to what's going on right now, because basically if that is even true, a lot of things that is done within our community or done to us is resulted back to basically our fault because we're allowing it to happen. And I thought he did a really good video. He had a lot of solid points in the video, but I slightly disagree with him when he said that we can't relate it to what's going on right now. And how I'm going to prove that first of all, from my point of view, I believe that the Willie Lynch letter is true. I think this was a method to control slaves. Just like a lot of things that are designed in today's time that's trying to control our people or force us into a life of crime so that we can end up into the prison system and work for 35 cents a day and basically be constructed to make money for those who are in power in this country. But basically I disagree when he said that it doesn't relate to what's going on right now, because we could take prime example a kid that has special needs as far as education, whether it be in mathematics, whether it be in reading. And let's just say we take a special ed kid that can't read a lick, can't even read a book, a Dr. Seuss book, something as simple as that. And we teach this kid certain methods of how to pronounce words. We teach them how to read certain things, and after time, like he mentioned, black people once having unity and having a strong family structure and so on and so on, like we did during the civil rights movement and certain times, just like the Harlem Renaissance, we had economical strength and so on and so on. If we take that child, that special education child, and help them read, and eventually they start to become more educated with their reading and start to learn how to read books, and let's say they start to learn to read a book like a Dr. Seuss book when they once couldn't, just because they have learned how to read that Dr. Seuss book that they once couldn't read doesn't mean that they still don't suffer from some of the attributes and some of the things that the issues that they deal with because they're a special ed student. Let me break that down a little bit more. We might have a special ed kid that might get better in their reading, but that doesn't mean they're not going to suffer in mathematics. That doesn't mean they're not going to suffer in just basically having common sense, or suffering science, suffering and learning history, suffering and other different point of views when it comes to education. So we can relate that back to the black community. Just because we had somewhat of a little bit of progression, or we have certain opportunities that are put into place for us right now, that doesn't mean that the Willie Lynch syndrome and a lot of methods that were used and a lot of the mental destruction that was done to our people doesn't still relate to what's going on right now. Even though we've had some type of progress, that doesn't mean that, you know, things like the light skin, dark skin thing doesn't affect us. Or you see people out here talking about hair weaves and women going natural, and somehow you have some type of more of a stronger black essence because you choose to wear your hair naturally. And you know, I know the certain connotations that come with black women wearing weaves and everything, but like I said before, every woman that puts on a hair piece, or you know, wears a wig, or wants to do something different with their hair, you know, just going back, black people are very creative. Every woman who wants to wear a weave or add a piece of her hair doesn't mean she has self-hatred, or she doesn't like herself, or she's trying to look like the white woman. Yes, that does exist in our community, but that's not always the case. So we have to really look at the things that were put into place during the Willie Lynch era and how that relates back to now. You know, yes, we have you know, black folks that are going to college, you know, getting good education and being top executives and CEO and major corporations, or you know, we got brothers and sisters making millions of dollars, whatever they're doing, whether they're entrepreneurs in the entertainment field, whether they are a doctor or lawyer, etc., etc. Yes, we've had some progress, but we can't say because we've had progress within our people that every other issue that's negative that we deal with is our fault. We have to understand that the Willie Lynch syndrome has been constructed in a way to fit society nowadays, the same way as slavery, which I did a video on. A lot of times people think because we're, you know, in the new millennium, or it's 2013, a lot of things that we deal with, or we once deal with, like slavery and racism and, you know, so-called the Willie Lynch syndrome, that doesn't revert back to what we deal with right now. And all those different things that we dealt with in the 18th century, 19th, and so on and so on, still relates to our generation right now in the area that we're in now. It's just a lot of things are more institutionalized. You know, they're hitting us with racism and hatred and discrimination within the work field, or the educational system, or you know, politics, and so on and so on. They're hitting us in different ways, and it's more of a constructed design for us to for them to push us into certain situations so that we get ourselves fall into some of these traps that are designed for us to fail. So now they've created a way where we can say, okay, well, I don't make you do this. I don't make you go, you know, kill another brother or kill another sister, or I don't make you have self-hatred against each other, or talk about the light-skinned man or the light-skinned woman or the dark skin, this, blah blah blah, and all those issues that we deal with within our community. But this is what they don't tell you. They don't talk about how there's a high influence of division within the entertainment field. When we see the light-skinned woman being cherished and being idolized as what's considered beauty, or the white woman, and how that relates back to the black community, as if, oh, the lighter you are, the better you are. They don't talk about how a lot of inner cities, which is predominantly Hispanic or black folks, the jobs are being outsourced out. There's not a lot of opportunities for people to earn a source of income, whether it be in minimum wage or whether it be in a high paying job. There's not a lot of opportunities for those people that come out of those type of communities. So what does that do? When you leave a group of people that's defunctioning in education, there's no lack of jobs. You have a lot of single parent household, and I'm not saying a lot of this stuff doesn't it's not our responsibility, but I'm talking about how things are designed to disrupt our function within this country. When you have all those things together, along with welfare and people not being able to provide for themselves, that's going to lead some people who are not mentally strong or is corrupted with the Willie Lynch syndrome to lead into a life of crime, or go out and kill another brother or sister simply because they hate themselves. So they want to act that anger out on another black man or another black sister. See, so the Willie Lynch syndrome is still going on right now, and it still relates to right now. Even though we're now on the field picking cotton or getting whooped with a chain or whatever, like we've seen a lot of these slavery movies, or what has happened to us in the past, that doesn't mean that we're not getting whipped in a different way. That doesn't mean that we're not still working on the plantation economically. So these are things that, like, nigga with the tattoo, like he said, I believe his name is Robert, but like Brother Robert said, we are somewhat responsible for our condition, because it's up to us to understand the type of conditions we're in and then build to change that and basically reverse the system against these people who are trying to dysfunction our people. But at the same time, we have to understand about the outside things that are coming in to our community and into the minds of our people that are creating destruction amongst each other. So that's just my breakdown of it. I agree with his video, but I didn't agree when he said that the Willie Lynch syndrome does not affect our people today. Because we have a lot of things that are going after us, day in and day out. And, you got brothers and sisters who walk out their door every day and don't know whether they're going to make it back home. And that's because of racism, or, simply the police brutality that's going on, or simply because of those who practice self-hatred within our community, just want to kill another brother or sister to take the little money you have, or to basically try to give some type of self-comfort to them, because they deal with self-hatred and they don't like themselves. So it's easy for them to go out and kill someone who looks like them, because it's a representative of how much they hate themselves. But that's basically my video. You guys can give me your feedback. I'm out. Peace.